fashion.
Blessed by Pudgy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Car era lore. Call me Levi playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out to
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
I just want to know what happened to your badge.
Badge is gone. Mintify his that team is building some other pretty cool stuff actually in the B2B world or more institutional world, I guess I should say. Absolute Zero, thank you for the heads up and pain. I don't know how I got muted this morning, but should be coming through all channels now, including over on YouTube. But we are live on X Audio Spaces, YouTube, and not on Abstract today. But we will we'll get that figured out. Jesus, thanks for jumping up. We don't have to get into it now, but you've got it figured out, right? Like I can get with you afterwards.
I saw thumbs down from Teacher Katie.
Yeah, Abstract's dead. It's just no go at all. I don't know what. I mean, I know it's part of their update. I just can't figure it out.
It's really simple, Cap.
What can I do it live or no?
There's lots of echo, Cap.
Oh, really?
There's tons of echo.
Well, last couple times it's echoed and then the echo goes away. I don't hear the echo, but this is.
I only heard it when Outer Lumen was talking.
Outer, do you hear echoes too?
Check.
It's gone now.
Maybe we're okay.
It's so weird. It does this. Like this is X's new thing. Like you get the guest speakers, they echo, but only the guests can hear the echo. And then a few seconds later, it goes away. Hizzy's saying echo, speakers are echoing bad. Give it a few seconds. We will see if
Try sending me the co-host again. Let's see just how badly we can rug this.
Yeah, I'm gonna check too. I don't think there's any new X update that I've not done, but it's just so odd. It's so random at times where
It does it on MySpace. It's done it on. I've heard every host for the past 3 days talk about it.
yeah, it's just so random. But then it goes away. It'd be one thing like if it. I mean, I'm glad it doesn't just stay, but it'd be easier to understand if it just kept echoing. But here it just seems to go away after a few seconds.
But I can help you real quick if you want to get the abstract stream started.
Yeah, it sounds like everyone else said it's good. We got better. So again, no idea what happened. But yeah, what is the what? So I go into
you got logged out and logged back in, and you lost the access.
Yep.
All right, so go to your X Pro because you're live streaming on X right now, right?
I am, but I think here's the problem: is I went live from the Coffee with Captain account, and it's saying the account must be linked to my X profile. So I think I'm going to have to wait and do it tomorrow. Yeah.
So what you'll have to do though, just for future notice, is go to your home profile, copy your live stream of your video stream. When you hit start live stream, scroll down on abstract. When you hit start live stream, it'll pop up a screen and you'll see paste URL. You paste that URL in there and then just hit go live. And
so basically it's now, instead of like pulling the live stream from StreamYard, it's pulling the live stream from X video. Am I tracking?
Yes, and then what that's going to do is aggregate all your viewers. So if you end up with 400 views, 500 views on your X stream, it's going to show you on abstract with 400 or 500 viewers.
Interesting.
So yeah, and it's the same way with Twitch. I started streaming on Twitch, but I'm not even using it anymore. I just do the copy and paste for X because I don't like Twitch. I'd rather stream on Kick than Twitch.
Well, we will get thanks for the heads up. Appreciate the sharing with how to fix this. We'll get Abstract live tomorrow. For anyone over in the Abstract chat, join us on YouTube today. Hit that like and subscribe while you're over there. Would appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and close the Abstract chat since we're down, and we'll be back. We'll get it fixed tomorrow. But like Payne said, no echo on YouTube. YouTube just works. It just works. That's actually on my to-do list this week. I do have to switch to YouTube Premium. I kind of did it like a backwards way or more difficult way, just because when I got a new phone, Verizon has some bundles where basically you can get all these streaming subscriptions for like $10 a month if you bundle, I think 3 or more. And I just need to, it takes a little bit of setup because I already have active accounts, and so I just need to make sure I'm actually setting up the current accounts and not paying double subscription. Anyways, no one cares about that, but you could save. I don't know if you have a lot of streaming services, 3 or more, you could probably save money by bundling them on your Verizon account. That is my quick pitch for my Verizon homies. Pudgy World is live. Oil is down after ripping up. And Outer, I have a funny, not a confession, but a real life story this morning. Speaking of Pudgy World, Outer and I were talking a little bit pre-show, and we'll talk a little bit about the Gandhi resolution. We hit on Gandhi yesterday and that exploit. I think, well, I don't want to say more important than the exploit, but I think as important as the exploit is how they communicated and how they're responding following the exploit. I think good to see. You love to see it where these crypto native brands step up and take care of their users, especially those impacted in times like that. What they went through. But before we get into that, or the extremely volatile oil market that's trading like a meme coin, we're not going to talk about NFL free agency today. You all the non-sports ball fans you got to say it by Outer joining us, because
I mean, we could always talk about it. I just don't even know what you're talking about, but I'm here to pretend I know.
So the highest level, we won't get into any specifics, but the highest level, the NFL, which they play
that's football, but
right.
not with feet. Right?
Correct. Yeah, they play a few months out of the year. However, due to, a lot of things, but partially like social media and just it's like always it's a 12-month sport. Like people are, you know,
This is
like
the big one, like the Super Bowl one.
yeah, the Super Bowl takes place in February, and so the next season doesn't start till like August, September is when the next season starts. However, you've got the NFL Combine where college players are basically going in spandex and running and jumping and getting their measurables. And then you have free agency open that opened yesterday.
Wait, hold up, back up. People care about college football as much as they care about college basketball? Because I thought college basketball was the thing.
I would say way more. Like college
Oh, wow,
basketball in
okay.
March is a big deal
Way more.
because of March Madness. But I think a lot of people, at least speaking for myself, I don't pay attention to college basketball really at all until March. And then the tournament in March is kind of fun. You can build a bracket. But yeah, I think college football is bigger, even though like I watch, you know, I root for the Buckeyes. I watch some Ohio State football. I'm not a huge
college are the Buckeyes?
Yep.
Which college is that?
Oh, Ohio State.
Okay. So I have a question. I mean, this is a legit question. Because I had recently had this conversation with my son who is like, you know, in high school now, and he's like, yo, what's the plan? Like, what are some good schools? And I'm in Canada, and there's some great schools in Canada, but he's also thinking about maybe going to the US. And
cool.
I told him, I'm like, do not get a bachelor's degree from the US, get a bachelor's degree from Canada where it's cheaper, and then do a grad degree in the US at a fancy school if that's what you want to do. Anyways, but I'm familiar with like what I think are the top schools in the US, but they have nothing to do with sports. I'm thinking like tech, engineering, like business, right? Like all the classic like Ivy League schools. And my question is like, you know, everybody in the world has heard of something like Harvard or Yale or whatever. Are those the schools that have the best sports teams, or is it like not at all like that?
Not really. I mean, the Ivy League schools traditionally are not good sports teams.
Oh, that so checks out.
It's mostly your bigger state schools, you know, like Ohio State. Like now they are.
So the nerds don't play sports.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's so funny.
Ohio State does have one of the top business colleges in the U.S. A top business.
I've not heard of Ohio State until I have met Steve.
The benefit of going to some of these schools, like other than like social and fun, these big state schools like Ohio State, the benefit is they have massive alumni network.
So wait, is NYU a state school?
Good question. I mean, it's like Ivy League-esque. It's not Ivy League, but
yeah, because I've heard of that one. But
yeah, NYU's I think a famous law school would be what my brain thinks of when I think of NYU. But the benefit of some of these schools like Ohio State is, you know, your network is your net worth, right? Like your network is important. And while you might not, like, if you want to become president of the United States, you probably want to go to Harvard or Yale. If you're in business, like it's not the worst place to go to a school like Ohio State or like even Indiana. Indiana, believe it or not, has a larger alumni base than Ohio State. And you're talking, you know, there's like 60,000 kids at any time at these schools, and you have millions of alumni. And so it's like no exaggeration. I could probably go in any airport in the country and yell OH, and someone in return is going to yell IO. Like there's almost everywhere I go, you see someone wearing an Ohio State hoodie or Ohio State hat. Was that going to guarantee you a job or no? But it's often like a foot in the door. And
I mean, is college education going to guarantee you a job at all these days? I mean, just, you know.
Briss Bryan says there is an in between. Syracuse is private, but not Ivy League. It's also the perk of going to Syracuse is you get in Adam Weitzman's good graces, and you got a billionaire donor on your side. Anyways, I digress. The whole reason it was a big day for NFL yesterday is free agency opened. So
what's that?
It's where players who are no longer under contract are free to sign with other teams. So, you know, they could re-sign with the team they most recently played for, or they could go sign with any other team. And sometimes there's bidding wars. It's exciting because players are moving. So it's like teams like.
So the quarterback who won the Super Bowl in February, where is he? Is he in the same team, or did somebody poach him?
Great question. The quarterback is
I'm getting good at this.
He signed a 3-year deal with the Seahawks. So he's still at the same team. However, the running back who won the Super Bowl MVP, the most valuable player in the Super Bowl, Kenneth Walker.
Well, hold up. What does the running back do?
The running back often stands behind the quarterback, and they hand them the football to run. So quarterback will
okay, I've seen that.
throw the ball to wide receivers or tight ends. Occasionally they throw the ball to a running back, but often the running back will get handed the ball 15 to 25 times a game and run. They can run in a touchdown. Anyways, Kenneth Walker was the MVP for the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and he was a free agent, and he left. He just signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. Probably the biggest free agent signing yesterday.
Didn't the Chiefs win the previous year?
The Chiefs are kind of
are you impressed?
I'm very impressed, actually. Chiefs are kind of a dynasty, although they've had like a rebuilding year. Patrick Mahomes is getting up there. Their tight end, all-world tight end, Travis Kelce, who's marrying Taylor Swift. He's probably going to be in his final season. Anyways, Kenneth Walker just signed with the Chiefs. So someone like myself, who's been drafting a lot of way too early best ball teams, this is like fantasy sports, but I'm already drafting for next year. I've been drafting a lot of Kenneth Walker because I was pretty certain he was going to go sign somewhere else and become a bell cow back because they'd pay him a lot of money. So I'm running pure in the free agency streets. A lot of the players like Kenneth Walker, Bashal Tutin, players that I think their value just increased a lot. And so, yeah, big day for myself and anyone else that's been grinding the best ball streets, and excited to see.
Okay, last question on the sports thing. The running back, is that a position that once you're in it, you're always in it? Or could they like at that professional level switch and be like a quarterback or something?
Couldn't. I don't think anyone's ever switched from running back to quarterback. Occasionally people will shift positions, but it's very rare. If there is going to be a position change, it's usually one of these college players might change from like wide receiver to tight end, or occasionally see a quarterback flip. They're just a super athlete and they go from quarterback to wide receiver. But most often, they won't change positions after they're in the league. Yeah, we're going to rename this. This is a new segment here on Coffee with Captain, Sports with Outer Lumen. I am absolutely here for it, and probably the shocker, like the long shot hit today. Cash your tickets if you had a 16-minute sports cold open with Outer Lumen today. That paid out big odds. So congratulations, everyone.
That should be that. We should go on Polymarket with that.
Yep, for sure.
Will I talk about sports?
Yeah, and again, 17 minutes in now, I'm really impressed. And it was like you were on point. Like the fact that you went to Seattle, the Super Bowl champs, and did they lose a key player in free agency when it happened to be the actual, now it wasn't the quarterback, but it was the free agent move of the day yesterday. Pretty impressive. Joey, GM, last thoughts on the sports talk before we jump into Pudgy World and oil and all things crypto.
GM, I think it'd be really important to mention also, while we're talking out about sports, that there is the Canadian Football League, which
I'm aware of it, but I don't think anyone else is.
Yeah, the Canadian Football League, which is interesting because they play on a bigger field.
4 downs versus
rules.
3.
No, we have 4 downs. We have 4 downs in the NFL too.
There's a difference in downs, isn't there, from a Canadian versus the American? I thought there was.
No, they're both 4 downs. The difference in the Canadian is it's a much bigger field, and they just have different rules on like where players can move.
Outer's right, Joey. Outer's right. Yeah, Canadian football only has 3 downs to gain 10 yards rather than the 4 downs in the NFL.
Oh, so they have less than the NFL.
Yep.
The day Joey comes up to tell me about Canadian
this is incredible.
football and gets by the Canadian.
Wait a minute. So they don't have. So what? So they have to get it in 2 downs and then choose to punt, or I don't understand.
Yeah, if the team fails to gain 10 yards in 3 downs, the ball is awarded to the opposing team.
Holy shit! I had no idea. I thought it was 4 downs.
This is if you ever question. If you ever question how big Outer's brain really was, just know that sports, which is not her area of expertise, she's educating Joey and myself, who consider ourselves pretty big sports fans. So,
bro, she didn't even know what a running back was, and she knew that shit.
I got you, man.
That's wild.
I'm not even in my final form. I'm still in bed.
Incredible. Today I learned that there's 3 downs in Canadian football.
Joey. Thank you for that.
Thank you for the knowledge drop there, Outer. I appreciate it. I'm not that I've ever watched the Canadian Football League.
Why would anyone?
But,
I mean, it's insane, and there's only 3 downs. Come on.
yeah. I mean, and it's typically played in like again, frozen weather with like it's not as it is kind of an exciting game, I guess, because they score a lot of points. There's also, do we still have the Arena League cap, or is the Arena League, or is it? Did we do away with the indoor?
There's something there. I don't know if it's still called the Arena League, but I think there is some.
And isn't the UFL or something coming back?
Something's. That's what I was thinking. Something's either still a thing or coming back. I don't know, but
They say 20, and we're still talking about sports.
Well,
the greatest bring back
the greatest Arena League player of all time, Kurt Warner.
We're gonna tie it all together now, though, because
I can tie this all together right now.
Oh, I got a perfect one because you set it up. You asked about my badge. I don't know if you saw my post yesterday, but I'm a free agent, not in the football world, but I'm a free agent. The badge is my love in promotion can be acquired. I joked I was looking for Alec Pierce money. I will settle for Kenneth Walker money. If anyone wants to pay me what Kenneth Walker just got paid for the Chiefs, I will rock your badge in perpetuity.
Sounds like a good time for a Beezy badge, bro.
Joey just is shilling my bags as well to Beezy. Maybe I'm open. I mean, Beezy would be one of the few I would proudly represent on a daily basis, and not because I guess there is one of the things with like a badge or like a title sponsor is we want to remain agnostic. We want to remain like there's. I'm not going to go into deep detail, but there's been some partners, some sponsors that wanted to do the title sponsor, and we chose not to because even though it would have brought in more money, we don't want it to be a turnoff to any other projects or brands or chains or etc. And while Beezy certainly has competitors, I don't care. Like I would if it offends Courtyard and they don't want to come on the show someday because I'm rocking a Beezy badge, I don't care at all. And yeah, with that, I didn't like. I knew it was going to go away at some point. I didn't know it was going to be yesterday. And so with the
wait, hold up, you had no warning on the badge removal?
No, and with there could have been there very well could have been like a Telegram DM or something I just missed. But my question is like I pay for X. I notice now the badge is, or not only the badge gone, the check mark is gone. What's up with that?
That's weird. If you pay for it,
No, you don't. You shouldn't have been getting billed. Once you get the way.
Well, I wasn't getting billed, but I had previously. So I just basically need to resubscribe. Okay.
Yeah. So when you get a company badge or like it automatically unsubscribes you.
It doesn't, because I still pay for my subscription and I have this badge because I'm too lazy to cancel.
I thought I paid for my sub too. I could be mistaken.
See, mine automatically unsubscribed. I haven't paid for.
I wonder
my ex since I got the Beezy badge.
I wonder if it has something to do with how you signed up. If you signed up on desktop or Apple App Store. Interesting.
Anyway, cheaper you're right, on the desktop.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I think if you sign up through the App Store, you have to cancel the subscription in the App Store. Maybe.
Dobbin says the check mark will come back in a few days. That's how it works. So either way, I definitely need to get the blue check mark back, whether it comes back or I resubscribe. But between now and then, I have
a sports Web3 thing. I still want to tie us back.
Let's do it.
Oh, okay. So this is just like a funny small story time about those of you who know me and my affinity for sports and everything being lost on me pretty much. Apparently not Canadian football though, but hey, in my journey in going to various events and hanging out in what we call Web3, air quotes, I've had the privilege of meeting folks that I had no idea were part of like some pretty big sport things in the US. Like meeting some professional hockey player at the Moonbirds party, having had Divide and I were standing there talking to him, and apparently he's like I don't know his name, I don't know what team, don't ask me, because he was just shocked that we didn't know and we didn't care, and he was so delighted to talk to two Canadians that are nerds about like just Web3 stuff, but he was just like absolutely just so shocked that we didn't even know like that it was important that he played for some big fancy hockey team in the States. It was really funny. And then that happened to me again when I worked with the hash masks. I met somebody who's like super high up in the baseball one. What's that one? Major League MBL.
MLB.
That
Yep.
that was hilarious. Just like again, lost on me. Like I don't care. I don't like baseball. What like whatever. So and then like even I remember part of the Alien Friends crew. I actually have a friend who is a friend now, but wasn't at the time that I met, who is part of the Canadian, or maybe was, I'm not sure anymore, football league. So it's kind of hilarious how like all these sport things have ended up landing in my world, like as a byproduct of just being in Web3. But the people that like I became friends with just appreciated that I actually didn't care about the fact that they were like part of these big sport things. I thought that was really hilarious, and how like they were just they were super interested in the Web3 space and more engaged into that than like having some kind of like fan or a person who's interested in sports. They were like relieved that like I'm a person that just doesn't care about what's happening in sports. I just thought that was so funny because never, especially the one with the hockey player, like Divide and I laughed so hard about that. We're like, any other person would have cared so deeply that this like is an NHL famous person. We don't.
It's so funny, and it's actually, I mean, not just sports, but like sports stars, musicians, actors, like celebrities in general. They're just human beings. Like it's so funny how like we put people on pedestals sometime and get starstruck. It's like they're just like us. They just do something different for work. Also, the only one that is just, I don't know. I'm not going to go off on Aaron Rodgers again, but every time I talk about any sort of celebrity encounter, I feel the contractual obligation to tell everyone how much of an asshole Aaron Rodgers is.
Was that hockey?
He's the football. He's a quarterback. Football? He's like a known, like not a nice person. Even like his own family, I don't think talks to him. And he's never like, because I'd been fortunate to be around mostly athletes, but a lot of, situations where the players, the owners, billionaire owners, like I had several of those interactions. So I wasn't like someone that was oohing and awing or starstruck per se. And met Aaron Rodgers once after a game. His teammate was a client of mine, like we were friends, and I was hanging out with Jared Cook, who's my friend, like our client, and Jared's wife, and Aaron Rodgers was dating Olivia Moon at the time, and she was there, and it was just normal conversation. Aaron walks out, and he just had a great game, threw 3 touchdowns in the first half, all to Randall Cobb in the playoffs. They won the game. And I just go, very normal. I go, hey, great game, Aaron. And he looks through me like I was transparent. Didn't acknowledge me, didn't say thanks, didn't nod, just completely ignored me, walked through me, and then started like with his back to me, started talking to his girlfriend and Jared and his wife as if I didn't exist. And Jared and his wife both just like shake their head like, what is this guy? Like, what is wrong with you, man? Anyways, yeah, the only time I've ever been interacted with someone like that who just thought they were better than everyone else in their presence. Chris Bryan says Michelle Wee was so rude to me one time at a Chinese buffet that my fantasy league renamed the loser trophy after her. That's pretty funny.
Wait, is that Michelle Wee, the golfer?
I'm guessing, yeah. Rissa being a big golf fan, I'm guessing that's who he's referencing.
How did anybody even recognize? No offense to Michelle Wee and the LPGA
he's a big golfer.
Tour.
He's a big golfer.
Okay, I was going to say like, Michelle Wee's not the most recognizable female athlete in the world. Like if it was like, oh, I saw Serena Williams, like I would be like, that's a give,
Juwan Brescian. Does anyone remember our friend? He was
that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah. So that's I was trying to. I couldn't. I know I'm probably pronouncing the last name wrong, but it was Juwan, right?
Yeah, it was Juwan.
Awesome. My brain wasn't fully functioning, but yeah, that's who I wanted to. Our I guess our mutual, super nice super nice guy, and very very talented. That's the thing too. Like athletes are so insane. Like Juwan is someone like unless you're in Web3 or you're a big fan of the Canadian Football League, you probably never heard of Juwan Brescian as a incredible wide receiver. Guy is insane. Had some absolutely incredible catches. And it's like the difference between the top 0.1% of professional athletes to the 0.01% of top professional athletes it's about as big of a difference between me and a minor league baseball player. Like it's just they are so at that level, they're so insanely talented, and at any professional level, it drives home how these at the top of the game, at the top of the sport, are just so insane. Speaking of so insane, shout out to Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. I'm having fun. I don't remember actually paying attention to the World Baseball Classic like I am this year, but it's fun to follow along and rooting for Venezuela U.S. finals. Anyways, 30 minutes cold
First time
open.
they beat Mexico. First time they beat Mexico in 20 years.
Yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. is
That play at shortstop was
believable.
Bananas. Absolutely bananas.
Dimcat says, appreciate the shout out there. Thank you very much. We're going to hard pivot, but into topic of news of the day. There's a lot to talk about. I do want to spend a little bit of time talking Pudgy World, mainly because it was the actual cold open topic I had this morning. I kid you not. I'm sitting down, Outer talking about, we'll talk a little about Gandhi, we'll talk a little about Pudgy World. So I didn't get to it yesterday. And I wanted to at least get in, play around the world a little bit, see it before we talk about it on the show today. So I am sitting at my computer, doing my pre-show prep, and I have, basically this pulled up, and my girlfriend, who has a professional job, walks in all her, her business professional attire, and like to say bye, have a good day. And she's like, "What is that?" And I just like, "Oh, it's some new game I have to do for research." Like I didn't know what to like I don't really care, and she doesn't care either, but it's like, it was just my funny / semi embarrassing moment when I am playing this. There's also the music, like right when I logged in.
Oh my God.
It was like very like Margaritaville-ish, and I was like, oh, da 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 da,
I had it on, and I was on the main floor, and Divide was working downstairs, and and I don't know, maybe like 5 minutes in, he's like, "What the fuck is that music?" Like literally, he just couldn't stand it. I had to mute it. It was really funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't care about the music because I have the gift of just tuning that out completely or being like super hyper focused on it. And luckily for me, I just tuned it right out when I was playing. But so much so that it was loud and I didn't notice that Divide did not tune it out and was really annoyed by it.
So same. Wasn't really paying attention to it. Hadn't really noticed it. Wasn't thinking anything about it. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not really like, I really don't care. Like, I don't care what anyone thinks about me if I play Pudgy World or any game for that matter. But it just hit me like after she said, "What is that?" And then it clicks to me the music that's playing. I'm like, I gotta look like such like this guy pretends he like actually works hard and he just plays. In reality, he's sitting at home while she's working and I'm playing with these cute pudgy penguins and what sounds like Margaritaville. Anyways, it was a funny moment. I'm not doing it justice, but yeah, if you are checking out Pudgy World, maybe at work or at school or somewhere that is a little more professional, maybe mute the music first. But all that being said, Outer, you had a chance to play around with it. What is your first impressions of Pudgy World?
So, I mean, I wish there was a mute. Oh, I'm feedbacking. I think that's better. I wish there was a mute button to at least turn the sound off. But
so you can, the bottom right, you can go into.
No, I'm talking about a single click. Like the
gotcha.
browser game.
Yeah.
There's. I mean, you can mute the tab, but like, there's no reason to not have that for the user as like an instant thing,
Just
especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you go back in and edit your penguin? Like, can you utilize all the stuff you've unlocked over the stuff?
So I'll give you like when I showed up, I no longer have any penguins, but when I showed up, I mean, there wasn't even a wall connect or anything, right? Like I gave him, I think, an email, or I don't even know if there's like an X. Like it was none of that is like, Web3 in that sense. So that was easy. And then there was a couple of customizations that were available, and then there was obviously like an incentive to get in and get more stuff. It wasn't clear to me maybe I'll back up for a second. For the record, when I went into this game, I didn't read a lot of things. I just, like most people, don't read a lot of things, and I kind of just wanted to see if this was semi-intuitive without having to like read every single Fatui. First time user experience is what a Fatui is. Yeah, so I just like went in and just played. There was it was interesting. Like, it was nice to see other people there. I don't mean just like Pudgy community people that were NPCs that were included in the game, like Dow Jones. I mean, like, actual people that I like that I saw also playing the game. There was like a friend chat that was interesting. The game itself, like the core loop of the game is, I guess, walk or slide and talk, or maybe I didn't it didn't like I'm not going to go back and play it, to be honest, because I don't have any strong incentive to. But I enjoyed, I think, the half an hour, the hour I spent. I think I got to like level 3 or 4 or something, just to experience it. It's not a game for me. I don't know who the game is for. I imagine community members are probably going to like it. I found some arcade thing that had a lot of games within the game, but I didn't understand their role either. And I'm talking about like implicitly, right? Like, I think if everybody reads everything as they're in the game, they're probably going to get a lot of information. I just wanted to just like faffle into it and see if it was enjoyable, and it was fun. What made it fun was like seeing fellow players in it that I may or may not recognize. I am feedbacking again, I think, um, but otherwise, yeah, like the basic core loop of the game, which is like, the kind of like few seconds of what you do in the game kind of on repeat. Like Mario Kart's core loop is, drive, pick up an item and fling item, drive, pick up an item, fling item, avoid collision. Like that's a core loop of Mario Kart. People, might think it's to complete a race or whatever. It's like, no, it's just like, what does your character do for the first like few seconds on repeat? Is that part enjoyable? And that part of it for me was okay, but I don't know. I don't understand, I guess, the like ultimate point of this game, other than maybe if it is just for pure fun, in which case I think maybe some players will enjoy it. But I didn't get like what the economy in it was. Like,
Mhm.
money could buy me certain things, but I wasn't sure what things. I guess then fishing got me some more money. I didn't know how to truly unlock traits, but I didn't read it. So like, yeah, I think it's great if they maybe get some, non Web3 people into it through their Instagram or whatever. I think the community is gonna vibe in there for sure. I think it's very like awesome in that way. But
Mhm.
like, just as a gamer, I don't really have an incentive as a non-holder in the ecosystem to go back and game in there. Like when choosing last night, if I was going to spend half an hour before going to bed on gaming, I did not choose Pudgy World. I was playing No Man's Sky, which I'm really into right now. So like, you know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. No,
yeah.
my experience was almost. I feel almost identical. Other than like I'm not gaming like you are outside of this. So like I'm just not a matter of like which game do I play. I want to support it. I hope they do well. I got in and like I wholeheartedly agree. Like here's a Dow Jonesy in there. That stuff's really well done. I love how they incorporated some of their community leaders and active community members into the game. That's awesome. I would love to see more of that in crypto and Web3, especially with these on-chain gamings. I actually do have some other play to earn gaming takes. To your point though, of like is there an incentive to play? And I know not everything needs to be tokens or monetized, but for me to explore a world like this and keep going back, I need some incentive. It's just like,
Well, I think it's like, No Man's Sky is an example of you just explore and there's an economy, right? And like, you just lost in that game and do whatever you need to do. But I like the free agency of it. I pinned up top, like, the first thing I did in that game was walk to the edge of the game. It's the first thing I do in any game that allows me the like, the potential of exploration. Because I like, if I'm going to explore, I'm going to explore. And it wasn't like vast enough for me to be curious enough about it. And then like, there is a like, I guess some side quests, but yeah, I don't know. It's almost funny, like, in a way, how they are a little bit similar in that there's like quests and things you could do, but No Man's Sky to me just was more appealing in just like like how much more there is to explore if the agency that I'm looking for in the game is to be like in explore mode, because that's ultimately what this comes down to, is like what are the things I'm feeling when I play the game. Why would I give it more than like a few minutes of my time? And like, No Man's Sky is relaxing to me because it doesn't matter what I do. I can just explore like planets and it's visual eye candy for me. Whereas in Pudgy World, I don't really understand like I guess I have to commit to the quests. And they weren't like super easy because ultimately I'm just like the like secondary loop of completion became I have to go and find some object, find more objects, find some more objects. So then I show up in a bigger world that was slightly bigger, still can't like fully explore it, and then I have to like go on a building, go behind here. Ultimately there's a chat and everyone in the chat's just like, where's this, where's this, where's this? So I don't know, it just it I don't think it had the depth that I'm looking for, but maybe that like lack of depth that I'm looking for is enough to just have other people like enjoy it. So you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to FUD it fully because I think it's like, I'm glad that that it was made, and I think like it's definitely like, well thought out, and like you could see all the effort that was put into it. And I do want it to be successful. I'm just not the right demographic of a gamer that's going to keep returning to it.
So again, feel very similar. Joey, we'll get to you in a second. My question back to Outer would be, do you think it can serve the purpose of, I'm assuming this is part of the purpose of bringing in people who see the Pingu brand, the Pudgies, whether it be a toy in a Walmart, or they see a GIF or an Instagram post. Do you, like, relative to other games that maybe aren't as deep as the one you're currently playing, but more like the fun, casual, mobile-friendly game, like scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how likely do you think that it will bring other people into the game and they keep coming back for more, and then ultimately expands that ecosystem?
I thought about game discovery, and like I thought about my kid, and I'm like, how would he hear about this if I didn't tell him about it?
Mm-hmm.
And unless it's on Steam or Roblox or like some other Web3 parent tells their kid and that kid tells my kid, like, I'm just, because his demographic is not on Instagram, like, so I don't know. I think my bigger question back to them is like, who's their actual target audience? Who's the target player demographic? Because that's what I don't understand. Aside from their community of holders, which is clearly a demographic, and I get that, and that's the part that was like super fun and nostalgic yesterday, is seeing those folks and hanging out with them. But I don't really understand like if they're attracting outside of that, what that like audience is. Because if it's Instagram, that's like what Gen Zers, probably mostly female, I imagine. Like, I don't really understand like if it's 14 or like Gen Alpha, that's Roblox and Steam for the older ones. So I don't really know like how they're going to get folks into it, like in terms of discovery. And I don't understand like what the plan is, because to me, I almost thought it was the give anyone who has had a toy through Walmart might have brand recognition, and rather than like getting to a toy from the game, it would be the toy that gets them to the game.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe they still do, but yeah, that's where you talk about who is that target demo. I mean, in my head, it would be the toy customers, whether it's a vinyl or a plushie from Walmart. Like, how do you get in? Because there's also been Lucas said, his goal was to have his toy, their toy, be better than their $20 toy, be better than the $20 toy next to it. Well, how does that happen? For a while, I thought, oh, they're going to be some sort of Pingu allocation, or you utilize it as the brand coin, a loyalty rewards program, bringing those assets into the game. And I believe not all, but most of these Pudgy Penguin toys, there has been a digital counterpart. I'm really curious to see how they incorporate that, because again, I could be wrong, but that would be my guess, is they're bringing those toy customers, those physical item clients, customers, users into this world and connecting those dots. And I know it's early. It's also launch day, and I'm sure they didn't launch everything that from the jump. But as far as the game and the gameplay itself, pretty simple, pretty intuitive. Joey, before I hand it back to you, you asked about how do you get into your inventory, your traits. In the top left, if you just click the icon next to your name, it'll open up your profile, your gear, your items, badges, etc. I also just realized accidentally that you can, if you click on, oh, there's Von Frunton. Hey, friend. You can add friends. Now, what does that do? I don't know, but I do like the. I mean, I know this isn't new. I know a lot of games have group chats and you have friends, but I think this is where Web3 can really win, is the social component inside of these worlds. And then you talk about when those new customers do find their way into the world, I can see them, their immersion into the community could be, much faster, as opposed to someone buys a toy and then they follow the Pudgy Penguin Twitter account or they find their way into Discord. I think this is much more, a world like this, much more conducive to a new community member where they buy a $20 toy or digital avatar to coming in and actually feeling like they're part of the larger community. But Joey, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know Joey's hand is up. My bad.
No, you're fine. Go ahead and we'll get Joey in after.
I was just going to respond and say that I think like you running into a front is like, I think the classic like carrot that is dangling that makes sense, because I think other side is the same. Like when I play No Man's Sky, unless I tell someone to play it with me, the chances of me randomly running into somebody I know are like next to none. Whereas the chances of me running into people I know and can like say hello to in the other side or now in Pudgy World are huge, because our community isn't that big, and it's like actually kind of fun to show up and see if I run into anybody I do know, almost like at a Web3 event or whatever. It feels like that, right? Versus like of course there's lots of multiplayer online things happening, but I really enjoy the aspect where I could actually like happenstance run into somebody just like you did.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Wholeheartedly agree. And DGTL Trophy says, isn't it true that isn't it true though that when buying toys, the activations include QR codes, which bring you straight into Pudgy World? So I think that is their target audience. I love the execution. I think so, but I'm not 100% certain. Joey, go ahead wherever you'd like. And then is that accurate? Like is those QR codes with the original toys, does that bring them into Pudgy World or not quite yet?
Yeah, so I actually, real quick before I comment on like Pudgy World, I guess I originally linked my email when I did redeem all those QR codes. I had to refresh my browser a couple times because I was stuck in this loop of where it wasn't loading where I wanted to go, which is one of my issues with browser games in general. I'm not a fan of them. So because I signed in with the email that I signed up for originally with all the QR codes, I can go into my Igloo now, and all that stuff that I got for buying the Five Below igloos and the stuffed animals are there. So I am able to dress up my penguin with all those traits that I unlocked.
That's pretty cool.
Originally. So if you click on Igloo, it'll take you to like your wardrobe, and then you have all your different penguin skins, eyes, hats, glasses, outfits, etc. If you did redeem all of those things.
I have an unredeemed one. Is the redeem closed?
I don't know. That's a good question. On the home screen, there is a section that says like it says, hold on, I got to refresh again because it won't let me get back to the home screen without refreshing. It says coming soon or something. It says toy claim soon. So maybe it's not active that you can, or maybe that's a different toy claim. I don't know, but you can try to scan the QR code and see if it'll load into your wardrobe.
I will say, go ahead, finish your thought, and then ST McFly, so you come up, we'll get to you here briefly.
Yeah. So right now, first off, it's launch day or whatever. So I don't expect it to be like a completely fleshed out game. I will say I'm a little disappointed that they announced Pudgy World at Basel 2024. I think it was. So we're going on over 2 years of waiting for Pudgy World to come out. And the fact that it came out with like 10 buildings in this little village around a fire pit and a fishing hole, I will say is a little disappointing.
Well, have you gone to the other worlds? Because it's more than just that.
But How do you get there?
You got a quest, so like there's a bunch more
Oh, so
villages, and they get
so it
bigger.
unlocks as you do the quest.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You get on the
Okay,
bus.
that makes sense.
Get on
Okay,
the
well,
bus,
then I'm not
Joey.
disappointed. Okay,
Uh,
I'm sorry. But I do think, like, I play Pudgy Party, the one that I was kind of critical of because it was like a reskin of Fall Guys. I play that because it's on my mobile device. It's really simple. It's a mobile app. You download it from Mythical, you play. I don't know why they didn't go mobile app version, to Cap's point about like making it more accessible to people by being able to play on a mobile app versus a browser game.
Wait, why
I
does
guess
it have to be versus? It doesn't work in mobile? It's not a web app where you could actually just play it in mobile as well?
Well,
I mean,
I believe you can. I think Joey's saying like it's not an app. It is just the mobile browser.
yeah, like instead of using your mobile browser, being able to download the Pudgy World app and play it like a mobile game versus having to go into Chrome and
Oh, okay.
play it on a.
I mean, I don't know. You can always skin that like a web app with an icon on your phone. If it's good, if it's designed well,
Handy Pang?
it should be pretty seamless. But I have to
Hmm?
I mean, Jonah can probably, who's up here, I was gonna say, who could probably. Oh, there's an echo again. Oh, it's gone again. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who your guys' point. I guess that's the question. Like, I'm not going to play this game. It's not, especially on a web browser. It's not my style. It's not my thing.
Guys,
I'd rather.
it's a game for kids. It's a kids game.
Okay, but how
Yeah,
do kids find it if it's
yeah, how
not on
do kids
Roblox
find
or
this game?
Steam?
Well, they have parents, and then like they have like little like activations. It's not meant to be what you guys are talking about. It's just like, oh, you bought this little figurine at Five Below. Check it out on Pudgy World.
Well, we covered that. That's what we thought the on ramp would be. We were just
Yeah, that's
wondering
all
if
it
there's
is.
anything. Yeah,
It's
I mean
yeah.
that's fine.
You know, this is it's not it's a video game for like 5-year-olds. It's what it is. It's not meant
Yeah, but
for
what 5?
40-year-old
I don't know
men.
if any 5-year-olds that are. I mean, my daughter's 5. I don't see her playing this game.
Well,
I mean, that's just.
it's one 5-year-old, and that that's I don't know. I don't talk to 5-year-olds. I don't have
I
kids,
mean, it's a
so
little
I
bit more.
can't
I
tell
feel
you.
like it's a little complicated for a 5-year-old.
Not really.
Like.
Nah, it's really not. Roblox is more complicated. You'd be surprised.
I mean, Jonah's right on that.
Yeah, I would agree. I while I'm not in those streets, like it's pretty incredible what these younger kids are not just playing but also building, and I don't think it's that
Seen a
difficult.
5-year-old drive a rig and build a whole economy in a tycoon on Roblox. They can do
Yeah, I
anything.
mean, and like you got like 5 to 8-year-olds downloading mods on the internet for Minecraft. Like they're eons ahead of any of us when it comes to using computers because they're born with it at a distinct level. So it's just like it's a game for little kids.
Bro-
It's, maybe your kid's not playing it, but if they want a penguin plushie or whatever, and the tag says "see it come to life" at whatever.com, that's what this is for. It's not. I think people are way over analyzing.
So-
This is just an experience.
So level setting that, and ST McFly, appreciate your patience. We'll get you here in 1 minute. Level setting there, like, and B Epic says, the target demo is 8 to 12-year-olds. If the demo is 8 to 12-year-olds, and it's the onboarding would be by way of these toys or other maybe social media. I don't know. I think it hits. I think it can check out. I think there's the quest nature. I had to close the tab because I couldn't stop the music after I found Paxton. But there's like 21 badges. There's 38. Like there's a lot.
I don't know how many kids are gonna read those fatuis though. Like,
But how many? To Jonah's point, how many 8 to 12-year-olds are going to pick Pudgy World over Roblox?
Well, they'll try anything, but they have to be told, right? Like, this is the thing. I don't know what the motivation is to not just put it on Roblox, but like, I'm sure there is one because the toy to game narrative makes sense to me. But like, just in playing the game, I don't think an 8-year-old is going to read the insane amount of text that hit me in trying to play this game.
Well, I'm not like, I'm not 8, so I think that you'd be surprised what a kid would do when they really love an IP. They're like, if you're willing to play Dungeons and Dragons as a young adult, talk about first time user experience. Like, goddamn. I think when a product is so important to someone, a fatui is irrelevant. Now, what that emotional investment is, like, I don't know. That's something that Pudgy Penguin Company will know, and what they'll recognize as ROI, right? I mean, I saw them connect it to their Instagram channel, like Find Pinky or whatever her name is, right? I don't know. I just think this. Me personally, I think it's an overanalyzation because it's clearly not meant to be some insane video game. It's clearly
We're not analyzing it. We're just talking about it since it came out yesterday and our personal experience with it. Because I think the other community, it
Yeah,
is
but we're
certainly
all over the age of 30. Like we're
yeah,
unks. We're unks and aunties.
but I think also like it does service holders too, right? Like I mean, that's the people that are first playing it. It's not necessarily just the kids with the toys.
Yeah, well, and I'm
know.
sure the holders love it because they're like, "Oh my god, it's the whatever penguin," and then they
Well,
like
and
click
that
the.
so I think what I'm hearing is that like I see incentive if you are a toy holder. That's a funny thing to say. Like if you and then you can like customize it and you can be like that's my toy, and then I do see some emotional investment there that could probably be sticky if you could dress it up as your toy.
Yeah, I'm curious, those holders deep in the community that do have kids 8 to 12, how are you feeling? How are they feeling? Absolute Zero says, my 9-year-old will love it. She does recognize the toys at Walmart because of the Pudgy Party. ST McFly, appreciate your patience. I got your post with a few clips pulled up here on screen. What was your, do you have kids? That would be my first question, if you don't mind sharing. And then, your first impressions of Pudgy World.
Yeah, GM everybody.
GM.
Hope you're all doing well. Thanks for having me up. Yeah, I do not have kids, so it's a different experience for me, just kind of exploring it as a user, just a general user. But I'm in full agreement with what Jonah was saying. I think, obviously this is good to have conversation about it. It's cool to talk about it right after release. But I think there's a lot of overanalyzation happening from a user perspective because it is meant for kids. So when Pudgy released toys in Walmart, Target, GameStop, etc., every Igloo toy, every one of the vinyl toys came with QR codes that, it's been a while. It took a long time, but every toy came with QR codes that when you scan it, it was to take you to Pudgy World, which at the time was not available for people to play yet. But it did allow you to download and reveal traits. And those traits were going to be stuck into your profile for an extended period of time. Obviously, it took a couple of years to get this out. So it's been a while. But those traits also, you have rare traits, common traits, epic traits. There was at first a marketplace for those, but they took that away. And then eventually it sounds like that might come back. The toy drop on the main page is meant as a Pengu airdrop. There's two sides of this game. There's one for Web3 people who understand the IP and are excited to play as Pudgy Penguin holders, little Pudgy holders, Web3 people native. But then mostly like what Jonah was saying, this is just meant for kids. So this is where someone goes to Walmart, picks up a toy, opens up the toy and sees, hey, come to this website, play the game. You now have access to an interactive part of the product that you purchased. So it is really, the first initial day, of course, it's going to be all Web3 people. We're the main frontline people who get to see the IP and interact with it. So it's going to be us first. So I understand, a lot of people can say like, what's the incentive? But really, does there need to be an incentive? It's mostly like like when you go play Fortnite or when you go play GTA, there's no incentives. It's just to play a game.
Well, let's I mean, like I know there's some like, oh, it's over analysis, but I think it's good to have these conversations about the game. And to
Of
me,
course.
like a kid still needs a core loop that's fun or some kind of incentive, not just incentive like we think about in Web3, which is like, am I going to make a bag or whatever else that means? But I think like the incentive of feeling good while I play the game is incentive enough, right? Like, and that's, I think,
You'd
like,
be surprised how many kids will turn Fortnite back on when there's a new skin that they can buy. That's really cool. And
that too.
and like that in itself is a loop because it's just like fashion where it's like, oh, you don't have the XYZ skin in the game. Oh, you're a NPC or whatever. You know,
Mhm.
these kids have some whatever word it is, right? There's a new thing. Same thing with Pudgy. If it ends up being a brand that people want, it's like, oh, you have the whatever top hat toy. Well, I got the gold motherfucker toy, and then like the thing shines in the game, right? I think again, because we're unks and aunties, we crave a loop that is financial.
Yep.
But when you're a kid, you know, when you're under the age of 14 or 13, you're not thinking about money so much. You're thinking about like, are my friends going to be there, or do I have some collectible, you know, that my friend doesn't have, and I can look at the thing. You know, we often uh, attribute our own motives to individuals who don't have their gray matter formed until the age of 25. You know.
I think it may actually be bullish that there's no hard financial incentives for those of us here, at least out of the jump. Like personally, would I be more interested if there was? Yeah, but you also want real users. You also want real feedback, and you don't want just a bunch of farmers and people in there solely because they're going to get a big bag of Pingu or something. Um, and I will say this: I do think I think it's cute. I think the IP is cute. I could see again. My youngest kid is 18, so probably aged out of Pudgy Penguins. But you know, money says for what it's worth, my 10-year-old daughter who had no previous exposure to Pudgy Penguins was mind blown and wanted on my PC instantly to play. She thought it looked amazing. It was the cutest thing ever. Like I do think they're cute, and I think if someone is pulled to the IP by way of a plushie or a vinyl, the whole thesis, if we zoom way out and just think about that comment that stuck with me that Luke once said, like he wants his $20 toy on Walmart to be better than on the Walmart shelf to be better than the $20 toy next to it. Like we talk about bringing the world on chain and what blockchain technology can unlock. And while, well, what is this? What needs to be on chain here? Well, I don't know yet, but the where I think they're going with the badges and the traits and like whether they bring back a marketplace for some of these wearables or not, like the beauty of this is it is programmable tech, and they could add on to this. The fact that Joey still was able to go see traits that he had purchased or got from toys that he bought years ago, and when he logs in with his email address, that's all there. That's pretty cool. Like forget everything else. Just that, like you can't do that with Madden or FIFA or any of these other games that are really specific just to that year's title. I think this is, to me, it gets me excited about what some of the initial thesis for on-chain gaming was, and I think it's cute, and I think they're off to a good start. ST McFly, go ahead and get back in here. Then we'll go back to Joey, and then Be Epic and Idiot. If you want to get in, we will keep rotating through.
Actually, I gotta go because she's just started the Z stream. But real quick, I just want to say my only complaint is that it said my name is offensive language. It wouldn't let me name myself an idiot.
Interesting.
So let's burn it all down.
Interesting.
No, I'm just kidding. I will say just real quick because I am going to jump. I distinctly remember playing games when I was in elementary school that had extremely complex mechanics and all kinds of text and narrative and stuff. I don't the argument that it's too complex or not complex enough. Kids like all kinds of games. They like simple games. They like games with a lot of story, with a lot of character development, with crafting mechanics, with bop it on the head mechanics.
Mhm.
It's I played all kinds of games when I was a kid. I think I played it some last night. It's cute. I think it'll be a big success. I think they'll be able to expand on it. And on the financializing it side, if they over financialize it in the way that we would want them to, then it's not accessible to kids anymore. Because parents aren't going to keep dumping their savings into a penguin game like I'm going to for NFTs anyway. You guys have a wonderful day.
Nope. Thanks for jumping up. Appreciate you sharing. And yeah,
Is there a money sink in it? I actually don't know. Can you spend money on anything in that game?
I think there is a currency that you can buy. I haven't figured out what it does yet, though.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm guessing.
I think it's part of the. I think it's part of the. When you go to the home screen, there's a couple things that are not open yet. So, and I think one of them was where you can purchase items. So I think eventually you will be able to purchase items a la like a Fortnite or something like that.
Yeah, I think so as well. That'd be my guess. It does say on their title page, it says free to play, no download required, all ages. I think with how they're I would guess there's going to be some premium, some paid features, some level up features, some battle pass type stuff. Maybe not, but I would imagine that is turned on at some point. Von Fronten in the chat says, for what it's worth, I think it's a good game. I doubt I'll play it much, but think my 8-year-old will love it, assuming the play translates well to mobile. And that's kind of where I net out. I'm not, this isn't something I'm going to spend much time in other than like checking it out, supporting them, exploring a little bit. It's just not, again, I'm not a gamer and this, it just doesn't do. Yeah, it's not like an addictive loop. I gotta go back in and finish it. Got to level up. Got to finish my quest. But I can see where they're going with it, and I think it could hit for that younger demographic.
That younger demographic is on mobile more than they are on like a PC or a laptop. Like if you are 6 or 8, you don't really have a laptop. And you are on, your iPad or tablet. And so I think that's where like something like the, Roblox shines because they have an app. And this isn't just like, me looking at a sample size of like 3 kids in a hospital waiting room on their iPad. This is like, you can get lots of reports on how mobile native that age demographic is. And that's kind of why I was asking a little bit if anyone's played it, if it is seamless, as a web app, then there's no issues. You can still just upload it and have your kid play it on the iPad. Like it shouldn't be a problem unless they made it one. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure it's fine because most of that age demographic will be on a mobile experience.
Before we go back to Joey, Outer, is Roblox, I've seen a lot of kids playing Roblox on iPads. Is it also, is it easily playable on mobile phones as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
it depends on the game. Some are harder than others, but yes, you can do it.
Joey, go ahead and get back in here.
So I just, while you were talking, I logged in on an iPhone Chrome browser, and you go through the process. You connect your email, etc. Then it takes you to a screen that says install Pudgy World, and then so I'm assuming you have to do. It's like it's not an app.
Yeah.
Click install game. Oh, so no, so you have to. You're basically like
on your website.
It's like a web app versus. So click that. Yeah, so we haven't gotten to the game yet, but you can. It looks pretty simple to log in on a mobile browser, but we haven't played it yet, so I'll report back. But I was going to say that I do think it looks really cool. Like I love the style that they chose of that like flat cartoon. It almost has like an older comic strip feel to it, like that flat cartoon that you would see. I'm trying to think of like some of the comic strips, but none of these people would know because they're all so young. And obviously, it's easy to play. I guess my struggle is that if the loop is you buy the toy, scan the QR code, and it gets you into the game, you have to. Then you're relying on all of the toy sales and having to expand your toy sales and making your toys go viral versus like a Fortnite where it's like just come play our game, or a Roblox, or right, it's all game based. And maybe they will spend time advertising the game, just Pudgy World specifically, because I guess you don't technically need to buy a toy to get access. But none of their toys are right now, in my opinion, and because we have a lot of them at my house, none of them are like playable toys, right? Like the little characters you got out of the Five Below igloos, you can't really play with them. They're like a little statue, right? Like they're not opposable. They're not. And the same with the stuffed animals. They're cute and they're great, but like my kids have 100 stuffed animals, right? They sit in a box with all the other stuffed animals. So, listen, I think it's cool. I think I applaud them for doing something moving forward. But yeah, once Jonah said like 8 to 12, it makes more sense now on the game itself and why like we're all just like, yeah, it's cool, but we're not going to play it.
Well, I also think Payne makes a great point here too. Anyone making games for boomers is doomed to fail.
Yeah, but that's not. It's gamers, not boomers. Like that's not a fair assessment.
Well, what my point though is that I don't think they should be building for the crypto audience, like a game that everyone here is going, oh, this is the greatest game I've played. Like, I think there's a much greater path towards math adoption and sustainability and success at scale by building something like this that can reach, that audience who is going to be buying their toys, not because they're just going out and sweeping all the Pudgy toys out of Walmart to drive, to drive some social posts, but actually people that are buying, collecting the toys. Let's get B Epic in here, and then Outer. I'm gonna go grab my coffee real quick. So when he's done, if you don't mind taking the mic, I would appreciate it. B Epic GM.
GM Kev, thanks for having me up. So yeah, I just want to comment on the Instagram followers. There's 2 million followers on Instagram, and the main characters in this are Paxton, Pengu, and Polly. If they can just get a small fraction of the people that are into the IP, and in a similar way that Pokemon has just gone bananas. My son is really into Pokemon. Same thing. We have all these figures. We have stuffed animals. Same kind of vibe, right? But if we could get people into the game and similar to Pokemon, I think that there's so much room for this IP to just go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think like it makes sense for them to focus on IP distribution, and that will attract people into the game. Like it's very natural when you have this like beloved character or beloved, IP lore. So I think that like that's fine. And if the demographic ultimately is 8 to 12, like Jonah said, and that was kind of how I started this entire thing. I was like, who is this really meant for? Because obviously it's not for me. So it's not for the web community necessarily. So if it's 8 to 12-year-olds, that makes sense because their mothers are on Instagram. So like that's perfect. Like, hey, now I got you a couple of Pudgy toys, and they come with games so that, you can tune out and stop yelling in the back of the car. Like it makes all the sense. And the more incentive there is, oh, I hear feedback, Cap.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The more incentive there is to fall in love with the toy, then all of the other things will follow. And I think like Paw Patrol is a good example of that. For when I think my kid was smaller, like that was definitely something that was around. And I don't know if there is a Paw Patrol game or not, but like that was definitely like a vibe where people were all about the Paw Patrol characters and any kind of IP around that, any kind of product around that would sell. Like that is a tale as old as time. If you have emotional attachment towards the IP, all the things that come out of that are things that you would want to collect or lean to. So I think that makes all the sense. Like I see the vision now. So it's really about execution and marketing of the Pudgy brand, especially the toys that lead to that game experience. And if it is seamless in mobile, then the demographic will have no barriers to playing it.
It's not. So we got past the screen where it says install game, and it just basically asks you to add it to your home screen, and then you access it through that. And we had to use our the pinch zoom to zoom all the way out. I just took a screenshot and I'm going to share it. So then when we zoomed all the way out, it actually cut off parts of the messaging, so you couldn't even get past. And yeah, like so you have to have your phone horizontal, otherwise it doesn't work, and it's just like a blue screen, and you can't zoom all the way out to get to the button to hit continue on the message. So it's not optimized for a mobile browser right now on an iPhone. You're literally just stuck. So I'll share the screenshot so you can see what I mean.
I mean, the team did say that you should probably play on a PC. So I'm sure they're still working on that. I'd be interested to know how it plays on an iPad. My son generally plays his games on the iPad, so perhaps we'll investigate that later today.
Yep. All that said, I do think good start. It needs to be fun. Yeah, I agree. Fun can be subjective, but it needs to be fun for I think especially that 8 to 10, 8 to 12, like the individuals who are going to not just collect the toys but fall in love with the IP and continue to use the toys. And I know there's a lot of holders and supporters that also love the IP, but for someone that's going to get in there day after day after any sort of launch nostalgia wears off, I think I'm rooting for it. I hope that really the connection from this is DGTL trophies shared, one of the QR codes. Like, this is where I really am curious to see how they continue to execute, is how they can bring that physical world into Pudgy world. And
I pinned Shiv's thing up top. It looks like that kid in the image is playing it on a tablet, so probably fine.
Awesome. Well, thanks for grabbing that. That I would maybe a tablet, maybe a big phone.
It should be fine. Like I don't understand. Like I just haven't tried it. There's just no way that they wouldn't account for that if their demographic is 8 to 12-year-olds, and a web app makes all the perfect sense for that if they didn't want to deal with like making an actual native app. So I'm sure it works.
Well, all that being said, congrats to the Pudgy team. I know this has been years in the making and has to feel good to get it out in the wild. And yeah, if you've not yet checked it out, get in there, check it out today. No code needed. And I did get some more feedback on the echoes. I apologize. I really have no idea what it might be. Maybe it was when I was doing screen share there. Maybe there's some sort of feedback, but it seems to be just on X. And from what feedback I'm getting, just when guest speakers speak. No idea what it might be, but we'll attempt to do some additional troubleshooting off after the show, maybe. I do want to hit on I alluded to the Brian Armstrong post. I do want to at least touch on markets briefly, and then if there's any additional thoughts, questions, whether it be on Pudgy World or anything anything crypto related, do throw your questions, comments in the chat, or throw a request in to come up, join us on stage. Interesting day in markets where oil ripped up to $117 a barrel down to, now it's, I think, 85, 86. We went to extreme fear again, back up into just the fear and greed chart at 26. So still fearful, but not as bad as it was yesterday. Bitcoin bounced back up over 70K. It's now 70,788. ETH back up over 2K again at 2,056. Those are up 3.5% and 2.4% respectively. XRP up to almost 3%. Solana up 3%. And pretty much green across the board. Hyperliquid, the big winner, up almost 10% on the day, 9.09, as the world continues to look at trading 24/7 on Hyperliquid. Soon to have some new competition though in the 24/7 space. Kraken announced a deal with Nasdaq, I believe Nasdaq, to where they're going to be introducing 24/7 trading soon as well. And I think all these are just continue to stack wins for crypto at large and blockchain technology, enabling more things, just being better on chain than off chain. Speaking of being better on chain than off chain, Holy Good Vibes Club up to 0.8, up 23% on the day. I would say the biggest NFT winner, but they are challenged by Captains, Meme Land Captains, up 24.5%, up to 0.33 on the day. Some big runs there. I think there was looked like maybe some sweeps, some whales positioning themselves. There was so big holders doing a buy 10 get 1 free deal in a big wheel. NXN is very actively pursuing getting all the badges. A few holders swept. So big movement in GVC land. Congratulations to all those. I keep saying, next time it dips, I'm gonna re-enter, and those dips are short-lived. Back to the rest of the NFTs though. Punks flat at 29.79. Apes down 4% to 5.46. Pudgy down 2% to 4.35. I mentioned Good Vibes Club, big winner on the day. Little Pudgy's up 2% to 0.48. Mutants down 1.4 to 0.81. Grifters down 14% after a pump the day prior. They're 14.99. Creeps down 20% to 0.24. Not sure what led to any sort of sell off there. Quirkies, their first non-green day, showing down 0.2%, but holding a floor of 1.17. Early winners of 2026. Normies down 9% to 0.05. Moonbirds lost 1 ether at 0.98, down 4.4% on the day. Del Mundo's down 5% to 0.07. And as I mentioned, Captain's up 25% to 0.33. Mochaverse also up 16% to 0.3. I'm guessing there's some sort of news or something, I'm guessing, drove those two collections. If anyone knows, let us know in the chat. Doodle's flat at 0.49, although I did see Evan, one of the founders, getting back in the Doodle Streets. I think he said he's joining as an advisor. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but yeah, Evan, one of the co-founders, back at Doodles as a strategic advisor, building with burnt toast again at the intersection of AI and crypto. Grateful for the team in this community. I don't. Curious to see where they head next, but this AI product they've been working on, will be curious to see what it actually is once it gets into the wild. I did see also last NFT update, CloneX up 4.5% to 0.29. We still do not know who the buyers are. Is that right? Still, I know there's been some speculation on the former founders, maybe Murakami himself, but I don't believe it's been confirmed who the actual buyers are of that collection. Potatoes are along with Captains. Potatoes also up 14%. So yeah, there must have been something coming out of meme land. And then Wreck Guys up 5% on the day as well. Cybercon giving up some of their gains. They're down 10% on the day to 2.19. But the death strategy continues to do some things. I think maybe relevant longer than some people expecting, and I'm all for on-chain experimentation. Speaking of on-chain experimentation, I've said it. I'm not saying I was wrong. I was just too early when I said AI agents would be to 2025 as NFTs were to 2021. Might have been a year and a half early. It's more likely that they're to 2026 what NFTs were to 2021. Brian Armstrong says, soon, very soon, there are going to be more AI agents than humans making transactions. They can't open a bank account, but they can own a crypto wallet. Think about it. And I would agree very soon. I think that could happen at any day, any month. I think it is I think it's inevitable. And I think it's likely that it does happen very soon, that there's more agents, not only more agents making transactions, but agents making far more transactions than their human counterparts, primarily because they don't have to sleep. They can do it 24/7, and their ability to do massive volume, I think, would just be far greater than your average human. So I don't know exactly what it means for Coinbase, what it means for Base, what it means for, how do you capitalize on that? I think is be using the stuff, be paying attention. One thing you could be doing with agents is having to audit contracts. I saw someone audited the Gandhi contract and found some vulnerabilities. The contract just went live a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, there was the exploit, but you shouldn't solely rely on agents. But I think as a low cost check, if you're launching a new smart contract, have some agents check it. Can they find any holes? Can they find any vulnerabilities? Because the scammers are certainly going to do it. And I'm guessing that's how some of them, I'm not sure if that's what happened with Gandhi or not, but these scammers have more tools at their disposal than ever before when it comes to exploiting smart contracts. So at least start there, at least have them check. Here is the result, how Gandhi resolved this. Again, if you missed it yesterday, Gandhi NFT lending platform had an exploit that was pretty scary because it was, if you had open, I don't know, I'm drawing a blank, open rights, open, you had anything open. It didn't necessarily need to be doing something active or opening a loan or closing a loan. If you just had given access, you could potentially have been at risk. Here is the result, though. This is, I think, the important thing when you talk about PR and communication and how they're resolving stuff. Since containing the exploit, our focus has shifted entirely to making affected users whole. Here's where things stand. Items sold to third parties. Several NFTs were purchased by innocent buyers who had no knowledge of the exploit. We reached out to them directly and asked for their help in returning the items to the rightful owner. The response from the collector community has been humbling. Collectors stepped up without hesitation. Thanks to them, we've already recovered and returned. And they list, four NFTs. We're in the active conversations on additional items. Expect more to follow, including Taxman. We are grateful to everyone who has cooperated. Items still in the exploiter's wallet. For NFTs remaining in the exploiter's wallet, they're pursuing two different paths. One of X collections. We've already bought comparable items from the same collections and transferred them to the affected owners, and will continue to do so for any remaining cases. While not the exact same price, we believe this is fair and meaningful resolution to those who are coordinating directly with each owner. One of ones. We are working hard on recovering these items and are in active discussion with relevant parties. We're committed to finding good resolution for every affected collector. And a note on the situation: every item recovered so far has been bought back using Gandhi's own protocol fees. We made that decision immediately and without hesitation because it was the right thing to do. It's also worth reiterating that NFTs and active loans were not affected by this exploit. They were never at risk at any point. Security confirmation: the Gandhi protocol is reviewed and confirmed safe by two independent parties, the team at Blockade and an independent auditor. Sell and repay feature remains disabled while we develop and deploy a fix. All their platform functionality is fully operational. The NFT space runs on trust. We take that seriously and will continue to post updates until every affected user has been fully resolved. Gandhi is safe to use. Onwards. Outer thoughts on that? Thoughts on the exploit itself, and even more so than Gandhi's response and what they're doing to attempt to make things right?
I mean, I think I'm surprised that I guess they didn't have an audit before whatever upgrade they made went live. Like I guess I'm not sure how it came to be that this was an oversight, but it sounds like they're doing the right thing and making the holders that lost stuff as whole as possible. So that makes sense, and I think like having that accountability is great. But like, yeah, I don't know. I also don't know what it's like to wake up and like have that one of one thing that you like disappear. That sounds super stressful. But then to be told that my stuff will be recovered, and if not exactly my thing, that's something that is fair value to replace it. Then I think that what else can you possibly do? So I think they're handling it in a way that makes sense. But I don't use the platform, so I think if anyone's listening that uses it, it'd be great to get their take on it.
Yeah, second that. If anyone wants to, hopefully you weren't impacted, but if you would like to share anything Gandhi related, let us know. I alluded to it earlier. I'll share. This was a post from Nix, who I don't consider like an engagement farmer or shit poster, so I take it as a real post. It says, I had my auditing agent run the Gandhi contract, and it found the vulnerability in 15 minutes. Every team needs to be doing this because attackers already are. The exploited contract was deployed 17 days ago. And the screenshots here are audit mainnet contract, and he posted it, agent auditor. And quickly it says, I found the repo's audit scaffolding and built in contract downloader. Now I'm reading the auditor playbook. I have repo playbook now. The workflow is resolved, blah, blah, blah. Goes on, and findings overview had a few critical with high confidence, a few critical severities. And again, not saying it's this easy, but yeah, we at this day and age, especially anything that's holding any sort of serious wealth, we should be running it through. Start with an agent, have it do your audits, and then preferably work with an independent firm. Some those that specialize in this. It's really important. It is talking about crypto and NFTs. A lot relies on trust. I feel like as we move forward and industry matured and tech got better, we don't talk as much about protocol risk or smart contract risk. Still very real, arguably more real than ever before, because these attackers have access to these tools and can help identify exploits by leveraging AI. I think it's of the utmost importance that anyone that rolling out a contract or NFT protocol or lending protocol, like really needs to have your I's dotted, T's crossed, and just know that it's, I mean, always been an attack vector, but scammers are just, their reality is they're more sophisticated because they've got better tools at their disposal than ever before, thanks to AI. So the good and the bad, both ends there. The good is hopefully they can, are able to protect, you're able to do your self audits, but the bad is certainly scammers have just leveled up across the board, not just crypto, but very apparent here in the space. Outer, any other, I guess, headlines? I've got we may do a quick, like kind of like a trial test run of a new segment we're going to be kicking off. But, the high level, I guess some high level, just like some takes on crypto, the market as a whole. I guess let me start there. How are you feeling? How do you feel about the current state of Bitcoin, of Ethereum? What are you thinking when it comes to the market at a high level? And do you think we're in a bear and a bull? Do you have any lean one way or another? Like what do you feel, or how do you feel about the current state of, what do you say, all crypto markets, in particular the majors?
I mean, this isn't my first rodeo, so I'm okay. I can see how if you've come after the last rodeo, this one might feel pretty, unsettling. Um, I I don't know if, if NFTs are ever gonna, reach peak bull vibes of 2021. I think that those of us who are here are definitely gonna continue to uplift some of the things we care about. As far as the markets overall, like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to call, but I'm optimistic. But I've been optimistic the last, you know, bunch of bears. Not even just one, but like a bunch of them. So I'm patient enough because this to me is a very long game that started in 2013. So what are we at now? Like 2013 to 2026? I'll be okay.
Yeah, same. I long term perspective. I think where it's odd to me is I've seen some good, well thought out takes supported by data on both sides of, some saying, this is the 4-year cycle gone? Is it a thing? If you think about the 4-year halving cycle, each one historically has triggered a bull run roughly 12 to 18 months following the halving. Last halving was April 24. Bitcoin peaked at 125 in October, so exactly 18 months later. We're now 5 months into the post-peak downturn. The question is, how long does despair last? And I put another way, I think I saw, are we just beginning in despair? Are we near the end of it? I don't know. And I think part of it is not just Bitcoin, but the uncertainty in the world, all the macro stuff. I've got a couple. I'll flash a couple articles here. I'm not going to read them in detail, but if you're interested, I can put them up top. This one from B in Crypto, simply price what to expect in March of 26. Bitcoin bear flag risks a 39% drop, but sell pressures fading fast across the board. Whale accumulation and collapsing ETF outflows hint at a local bounce. March hinges on 62,300 support versus $79,000 resistance. One breaks first, the direct, and then direction follows. And I kind of feel as if, while I don't know those, I'll take it at face value and say those are the actual proper support and resistant numbers. It does feel that this chop, this volatility, while it has been extremely volatile, it feels like it's been range bound forever. It goes on to say Bitcoin price enters March bruised. February was down 15%, echoing last February's, which Bitcoin dropped 17%. In 5 consecutive red months now in the books, starting from October. Median March return of 1.31. The seasonal backdrop offers little comfort, but beneath the surface, a shift may be forming. And then it goes into talk about here's what data shows heading into March. I'll pin this up top so you can see the charts for yourself. But outflows are fading. November of last year, there was 3.5 billion in outflows. December, 1 billion, January, 1 billion. And then February, just 206 million, or put another way, 94% reduction from November's outflows. So keeping in mind that these ETFs, it is retail. It's the demand now, a little bit of lag there, but it's retail investors, whether it's their shifting their 401k over or just buying ETFs, in the stock market. That is, this chart here I think is pretty. This just looks at the those long-term holder net position change. That's the other thing I saw in the news. I'll see if I can find an article on that. Was that the Winklevoss twins apparently moving a lot of their Bitcoin around, whether they're actually selling or it's just on the move. It just seems to be a lot of uncertainty, for lack of a better term, not just in the global macro sense, but in specifically in crypto, because not everyone is beating the bear drum, not everyone is beating the bull drum, not everyone's saying we're so back. It really is, I feel, at least from my perspective, somewhat split, which I think is probably driving more confusion. And I think part of it is these derivatives, the fact that whether you want to blame Jane Street or not, the fact that there is the ability to trade all these different derivatives of Bitcoin, bigger things than just supply versus demand are driving this. And I remain not even like long-term bullish. I probably going to look for another spot to open another long. Last one I did was on ETH, probably looking at going long on Bitcoin or ETH, and maybe just playing this range. So if using those numbers of 62.3 is the is support and 79K is resistance, I might look to just trade within that range. While I will lever up, I'll do so with leverage that's not going to put me at risk of getting liquidated, and just try to make some money while trading within this, this volatile range that it seems to be a lot longer than it actually has been. And I think that's something else too, is our sense of time here is somewhat warped. And if you zoom out just a little bit, I know a lot of people like to tie it to Trump taking office or the Trump presidency. I think most that were, especially anyone that was a single issue voter and that voted for Trump because he was ending the war on crypto and was going to pump our bags, most people are probably disappointed because the bags haven't pumped. I also think everything considered in the world, I don't think it's as bad as some would like you to believe, because everything is going on in the world. It is very, very confusing, a time of uncertainty. And I would say like the next weeks or months are very important. Maybe not. But I think my read, not being a geopolitical or war expert, it seems to me that things are somewhat settling down. I mean, just yesterday, Trump had two very contradictory statements, saying, and I summarizing here, but basically the war is almost over. And then, I think in the same interview said it could go on for some long time. So who really knows? But just if you're looking at, oil recovering or, going back to normalized pricing and seemingly the shipping lanes opening back up, seems that maybe the end is near. Who knows? And even if the end is near, it could still be drug out for quite a while. But I am, trade of the day. I think we're going back in either Bitcoin or ETH and opening along.
So I can tell you something that like hasn't changed, because you were kind of asking me like, what have I been up to? I did do something interesting. I think it was last week, although I feel like the weeks are feeling a bit blurry. I have a friend who was speaking virtually as part of this conference that happened virtually last week. I think it was last week. I'm echoing again, Cap. And so they apparently this was planned for a while, but like I just got word of it because I know somebody who was speaking. But there was a women in Bitcoin conference that was virtual that went for 2 days, I guess. I don't know the full extent of it because I only attended like her session to support. And I hung out in the, I guess, lobby before the session started. And what I can tell you is definitely not like there's still full on like Bitcoin maxis and that hasn't changed. And that was so fascinating to me. Like I think I've forgotten a little bit of that. And then having showed up to support my friend at this conference, it was really interesting to see in the chat because there's like this like really, active group chat going on, everyone's saying hello. And in the panel before my friend spoke, there was kind of like a introducing people to Bitcoin, like super as basic as they could make it, gloss over of what Bitcoin is, and comparing it to like real estate and gold and all the classic kind of like tropes. But what was really interesting to me is that like there was so many, I'm going to assume women because it's a women's conference, but maybe not just women, dying on the hill that like everything else is a shitcoin and Bitcoin is the only true thing and its use is as digital currency. And I couldn't help but just troll them a little bit because it's just too funny for me not to troll them a little bit because I feel like there's just like missed opportunities in that. So when somebody would be like, oh, the only thing that I like is, oh, that's a really hard echo for me. I have no idea why it's happening, but okay, I think it's a bit better. Um, yeah, one of the things that somebody was saying, like how, Bitcoin is the only thing and everything else is secondary to it. And I would post things like, my classic, I'm an and person, like, I like Bitcoin and Ethereum and real estate and gold because, you win more by being an and person and not an or person. And it was kind of funny just to see like, I thought I would get kicked out. Like, I mean, I wrote the word Ethereum in a Bitcoin, what I realized, like pretty maxi group, discourse, but they didn't kick me out, but I was pushing it for sure. It was pretty funny. Um, Another one was somebody saying how like everything else is a shitcoin except for Bitcoin, which is a classic narrative. And I couldn't help it. And I wrote it and I'm like, yeah, but what if you buy shitcoins and then win and then buy more Bitcoin with the profits, like just lighthearted, like trolling. It was really comical, at least to me, to just to see what kind of responses I would elicit from Bitcoin maxis that only have like tunnel vision for Bitcoin and whatever future and definition it has. So yeah, that was very interesting to remind myself of people that are on the other side of our crypto world that only think Bitcoin is the only valid form of crypto.
Not that you did this on purpose, but actually a perfect setup to talk about our this lead into the sponsored segment. You mentioned conferences, Bitcoin maxis. Not that everyone going to Bitcoin Vegas is a Bitcoin maxi, but next big conference, crypto related conference that I have on my schedule, April 27th through 29th in Las Vegas, Bitcoin 2026. I've yet to attend one of these Bitcoin conferences, and probably overdue. If you're not familiar, let me just this is not sponsored by Bitcoin Vegas, but just if you're not familiar, April 27th through 29th at the Venetian, 40,000 attendees, 5,000 companies, 500 speakers, 300 sponsors, pretty big list of keynote speakers and really movers and shakers from the 2026 headline speakers, Michael Saylor, Paul Atkins, who's the new chairman of the SEC, Mike Seelig, who's the chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, David Bailey, Cynthia Loomis, Adam Back, Matt Schultz, Fred Thiel, and more to come soon. This is one where 2 summers ago, I think, Trump was one of the speakers. I think that was Bitcoin Nashville. And this will be, I think, one of the, not just for Bitcoin, but I think one of the flagship crypto conferences of 2026. I mean, it always has been, but I feel as there's been some consolidation in the crypto conference space, in particular, the sunsetting of some of the NFT specific conferences. I think we'll see, as a result of that, I think we'll see more people attending things like Bitcoin 2026, things like Consensus. And I am, for one, pretty excited for Bitcoin Vegas in particular, because we actually have a friend, a sponsor. If you missed the interview last week, we had Doma on. They have their Dominion conference that will, it's right around Bitcoin Vegas. So if you're going to be out there for Bitcoin Vegas, you might want to attend. We would encourage it. We're going to get some passes and potentially even some additional discounts for any audience members. But that said, let me do the quick. We got another world premiere jingle courtesy of Payne, and then I'll do a quick. We're going to call this segment Get Real. Be right back.
Buying domains was slow, Doma changing the game. One bridge, one standard, now the systems move the same. Registrar, stay central, keep the trust and control. DNS and compliance, still they play the key role. Traded on chain, let new markets arise. Domain value unlocked. Welcome to DomainFi.
And Payne does not miss. This segment is brought to you by Doma Protocol, the world's first DNS-compliant blockchain, bringing internet domains on-chain as real-world assets. Think about this. You own a premium domain. Right now, it just sits there. Doma changes that, turning domains into programmable, yield-bearing assets you can trade, fractionalize, integrate into DeFi. It's ICANN compliant, no bridges, no workarounds. Doma is bringing 46 million domains into the RWA area. More at doma.xyz. This segment, we were going to talk, it's going to think of it RWA focused. So while, yes, Doma is bringing domains as RWAs on chain, this segment we'll do a couple times a week. Think of, like, if you remember, we used to do the more you know, similar to that, but we're going to be focusing on RWAs. Occasionally, we will bring in a deeper dive on Doma, but it's not just going to be Doma stuff. We're not going to talk about domains every time we do the segment. But as we kick it off, for those of you that missed the Doma interview, domains are the OG NFT, and nobody's really talking about it until now. We talk about real world assets consistently. BlackRock tokenizing bonds. We got tokenized treasuries. Stablecoin volumes at 46 trillion a year. But there's a $360 billion market hiding in plain sight this whole time. Internet domains and a protocol. Just put them, the Doma protocol just put them fully on chain. Why does this matter? Well, domains, as I mentioned, the original digital scarce asset, 26 years before NFTs, people were paying tens of thousands for premium domains, i.e. AI.com just sold for, like a billion X from when it was originally purchased. Doma protocol is the world's first DNS compliant blockchain built specifically for these tokenizing these real world assets, these domains. 390 million registered domains globally. It's a $360 billion market. Doma's initial pipeline looking at 46 million domains. And they also have some big partnerships coming. They have the .ape is a domain. They're helping that previously the ape DAO acquire, and really doing a lot more from as I mentioned, if you have domains yourself, they no longer have to be just passive and sitting there and you're paying your annual fees. You actually can make them a productive asset by bringing them on chain on the Doma protocol. In addition to that, you can invest, get shares or tokens of other premium domains, and have the opportunity to participate in liquidity pools. You can simply buy low and sell high, as well as the subdomains. One of the unique things is staking those tokens and giving the ability to create your own subdomain. A lot going on there. We will talk. I'll go see if I can grab the interview and I'll link it up top here soon. But mainnet is live. Paradigm backed this, by the way. They've received a 25 million Series A led by Paradigm and backed by also Coinbase, Uniswap, Optimism. Some pretty big players. I mentioned when we had the interview on, not just the investors, but the leadership team is is very experienced, very professional group, and excited to be working with them. There is an ENS integration, and a lot you can do on Doma. We'll grab some discount codes and some more stuff beyond just the conference, some things for Coffee with Captain listeners to participate and move up the leaderboard over on Doma. But again, as we talk about so often with RWAs, from Pokemon cards to hopefully eventually real estate, this, when we started talking to the team and what they're building, just makes sense. And again, in closing, if you own a premium domain that you're not earning yield on yet, you're leaving money on the table. Go check out Doma. It's DeFi moment for this $360 billion market. And most people here in crypto haven't even heard of it yet. So doma.xyz, app.doma.xyz, go check it out. And that is our Get Real. Maybe let's do this. Let's crowdsource segment titles. We landed on having real in the title, but any other brilliant ideas for...
Why is it real? That's like kind of movie related. Oh my God, the feedback is wild.
I don't know why it is so wild, because some people are hitting it, like Dort says, the feedback's hitting hard, must be unbearable for Outer Lumen. Others
it's
saying
like next level feedback, but right now it seems okay. Oh no, it's not. I don't know.
And I'm hearing no feedback on your. That's part of the wild part, is some are getting it.
I think it's
aren't.
When you're unmuted, but you have to be unmuted because otherwise no one would hear you. So I don't even know. Like, I have thoughts about domains, but I'm gonna try to get them out. If I keep hearing myself, they may not be one streamlined, flowy thought, because I am battling myself as I speak. This is kind of funny. Okay. So first of all, that's cool. I'll check that out. I once ended up in a Clubhouse room back in Clubhouse days and met a ton of domain name traders. I didn't even know this was a thing, but if you were in Clubhouse back in the day, there was like rooms with hundreds of people in them that were like full on living the life of domain traders. So like, and I remember meeting some of them and it blew my mind, because I was like, I pride myself at always getting a .com for pretty much any brand, and I'm very good at it, and I'm still very good at it. Like, I'll still come up with something so unique that there is a .com for it, and it's like not abstracted. It would be like a real word or a set of real words. So that's the game I play with domains. But I had no idea that there's now, like, I guess, some kind of like on-chain component to this. But what I think is interesting is that I believe next month there's a new round of applications that have not been around for a while.
15 years.
Well, no, I'm talking about TLDs. So that, like, you know how there's like a .com or a .ai or a
Mhm.
whatever. Yeah. So those are top level domains, and there is an application that you can do, which costs a lot of money to get an actual like custom domain put out. So businesses can do it. I think even individuals can. But the last round of this happened a while back, maybe 4 or 6 years ago. Like, it's not every year that they come up with and accept into the like internet forum or whatever a new TLDs. And so it's coming up actually, I think next month, that you can submit and create like, if you wanted like .cap or I wanted like .lumen, I could plead my case, pay like 200 grand and see if my application is accepted, and a new TLD would be indoctrinated into the list of TLDs, which I think is the fascinating part about domains, not just like the .com gold of getting the .com ones, but like what new ones come out and what brands like end up putting them into play.
Yeah, I was not aware of this until we had Fred as one of the founders over at Doma and educated us a little bit. But yeah, these top level domains, TLDs, as you called them, the last ICANN sanctioned auction for a top level domain occurred on July 26th of 2016. So it's been nearly a decade. That was like .web, .salon, .realty, some others that were included in that one. This one, I'm not sure.
Do you mean to buy when you say auction, like to purchase one of those?
Yeah, like for the first time, like for instance, one of the domains that Doma, the D3 team, the parent company of Doma, is going to go acquire at this auction is .ape. So they
okay,
were.
got it. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. So what I'm talking about is actual like this is like on the tech side of things, where you can go in and ask the like, I don't know what the body is called. It escapes me right now because I'm also battling myself talking back to myself. But it's like the governing body that puts out like what official TLDs are. You can apply to have a set of new ones. They release them every like cycle, and the cycle I think is 4 or 5 or however many 6 years. And right now, next month, they're opening applications to come up with new names, new TLDs. So that's what I'm talking about. And so like it's really cool for a business. Like if Pudgy Penguins wanted a dot penguin, they can go and make an application to see if this forum agrees that everybody should have access to a dot penguin.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No.
Yeah. And I think that's really cool.
Yep. Very, very cool world. And it's another one of these things where I truly believe bringing these assets on chain just makes it better. It unlocks so much more. You can see here of like investors.xyz, there's 11,000 holders of that domain. Not one, but 11,000 now because they fractionalized it on Doma. There's 23,000 subdomains. So if you held investors.xyz, if you held the token, which has an FDV of just $20,000, you then can stake those tokens and create. I could have cap.investors.xyz. We could have coffee with captain.investors.xyz. More to this. I didn't want to go into too deep of a dive on just Doma and DomainFi, but to answer your earlier question, real. Why real in the title? Not like movie real, but like real world asset. So we're thinking it's something that is a catchy title for a segment that focuses on RWAs and does a deep dive on real world assets and I don't know, keeping it real, get real. Like these were.
I see. Okay, so it wasn't just like a domain thing; it was like a real thing. Okay,
Mhm.
I understand now. I like this. You should totally have like a top 5 suggestions and then pick one.
Payne, I think that's going to be our pool for this week. Since you didn't want to include what should Payne's rapper name be, which we got a few more recommendations. Little Pain, Two Pains, Major Pain, Champagne, Big Pain are some options. If you want to run that in the pool this week, you can. But if not, we'll crowdsource. What are the top 4 segment titles for this RWA segment? And we'll include that pool in our newsletter this week. By the way, if you've not yet subscribed over there, it's just coffeewithcaptain.com. Drop your email. We'll only hit you once a week, and our ask is help us vote on the weekly pool. This week we'll finalize. That was our draft run. We'll finalize the name of this segment for something an RWA deep dive. So our goal, just to give you a little glimpse behind the scenes, is whatever RWA topic is the trending topic of the day or the week, we'll do a little deeper dive on that specific RWA or that category during this Get Real segment. Brought to you by Doma.
My submission is keeping it real.
I think that probably wins. Keeping it real. That was one of the suggestions. I think I like keeping it real better than Get Real. But we're open to ideas. So we'll probably have keeping it real, Get Real as 2 of the options when we actually go to vote. But I think we could do some fun stuff with this. And since we're talking sponsors, that'll be my final shill that I am a free agent. The badge is open. And if you'd like to have your logo next to my account, my profile, not just during the show, but 24/7 here on X, I can be bought. There is
what kind of badge would be your ideal badge?
Good question. I would say,
well, like, if you're going to summon the badges, we kind of have to know, like, do you like what would be the grail? Would it be like if Elon was like, hey, do you want the X badge? Would that be the grail? Yeah.
Yeah, probably an X badge. That sounds like super, that seems like very powerful for this app in particular. So yeah, probably an X badge. But if we're talking crypto natives, good question. I don't know who, the ideal world is it's one that it's not a chain, because I don't want to be, we want to remain agnostic as much as possible. And so then I think about, okay, what and you could say the same thing. Like, I don't want to go with a wallet because then I'm basically I'm shutting off any other future wallet partners or sponsors. But it's not like I think a team and a product I really believe in, someone that I'm comfortable talking about for beyond just when there's a sponsor bid or a segment. And also I think something that would be useful to our audience, meaning like I think we're going to do another campaign for one of the tax prep companies here. Well, it will be useful because if you're here, you all should be filing your taxes whether you're here or not. But crypto taxes are complicated, and if we can get you a good discount there, that would be helpful. So something that there's a discount or a perk for our audience, but also something that where it's just naturally going to come up in conversation throughout the year, throughout the week, throughout the month. And anytime someone's talking about, oh, I need a new crypto blank, it's easy to talk about and give some support to whoever's the badge. But yeah, I don't know. You made me think. Like I don't. Mega Weeth is still funny every time I read that. I'd consider rocking a Mega ETH badge, although that goes against the whole chain agnostic thing. When keeping it real goes wrong, that might be appropriate if we're talking about sound and echoes on X. But yeah, Outer, any thoughts on your end? Who would be from your perspective? Who would be my ideal badge partner?
Oh man, I don't even know. That's really tricky because like you said, if you lean into one thing, then because you're kind of running a show with a lot of different things that you feature, from wallets to projects to whatever, like you kind of need the one badge that rules them all in a way, or at least represents the diversity of that. Maybe you need to make your own badge. I don't know. Like, like this is like this is a very interesting conundrum. I yeah, I don't know.
That's the answer. My own badge that someone else will pay me to rock my own badge. That is.
I'll ask Udi if he'll give you a wizard badge.
Hey, speaking of Bitcoin, easy bit guy. Yeah, Bitcoin blows every other cryptocurrency out of the water. Go imagine that. Bitcoin Maxi believes Bitcoin is there's no second best, as Mr. Saylor would say. In all seriousness, I am excited for Bitcoin Vegas, having never been, and
I'm excited that you're going. I went to Nashville and it was amazing.
Yeah, everyone. It's like I don't know as if I've had anyone not speak highly of the Bitcoin conference, and feels like a miss that I haven't been yet.
Just the cooling unit section for miners, like in the pavilion, is in itself like a vibe. Like just go in like I mean, you're talking about real world assets or whatever, like this idea of like real things. Nothing is more real than like a giant cooling center for Bitcoin miners. It's really cool. Like I don't know what they're going to pull up with this time, but like there's a whole like physical like mining section in the pavilion, and it's like, if you're a nerd like me, is one of the coolest things you can go in and check out.
Yeah, I'm. By the way, Bitcoin the 20th million Bitcoin has been mined, so only 1 million more to go. Now, granted, it's like well over 100 years, I think, to get these last million. But yeah, if I could run back and do anything differently, like you can say, oh, I'd buy Bitcoin. Well, yeah, no kidding. Buy Nvidia, buy any. But I think like outside of just, oh, I'm going to buy something because I know it goes up in value. As someone who is tech-centric and been around technology my entire life, I think the advice I give myself, younger self, would be, as soon as you can, mine Bitcoin and just never sell it. Just keep mining Bitcoin. And that I think would have been a, and I know the industry is very different today than what it was in the early days, and it's very competitive, but yeah, I think whether it's cooling software or cooling technology or, I don't know. I think as our energy, all this shift to compute for AI, I don't know it, so it's probably an ignorant comment. I don't know the industry that is, but I feel as if could be some opportunities, some new opportunities that come in the Bitcoin mining world, as so much of the compute seemingly has shifted. Even some of the big, Bitcoin mining companies, they're shifting to AI and leveraging their hardware and and compute on the AI front. So I don't know. Maybe there's an opportunity there from the mining. And what I need to do is go to Bitcoin Vegas and actually learn from the people who can help educate me. Last bit of like good feel goods today, coming from one of my favorite Canadians, not named Outer Lumen, Diablito, sharing a bald eagle. Said I should share a moment from yesterday. One in the yard, iPhone looking through binoculars. Pretty cool that you can look outside in your yard and just see some majestic bald eagles. Appreciate you sharing. And yeah, someday I aspire to retire in a dog ranch, one that has, if not bald eagles, tropical birds flying all around. With that, Outer, any final words, closing comments, anything to get everyone out of here today?
Yeah, just what you were saying about like mining Bitcoin or being early to Bitcoin. Maybe this will be a funny thing to end on. Sometimes my son and I will make fun of Divide and like call him a boomer and whatever. But that man could always look back at us and say that he did, go out there into the wilds and get some Bitcoin in 2013, and like he will always have that over us.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing we can do to insult that man when he's sitting there smiling, being like, "Yeah, well, it's what I had that kind of conviction."
That hits different for me. Like it's like, oh, I had this take, or even if you document it, oh, I blogged about this take that full self-driving is going to become a thing. I said this was going to happen, 10 years ago. That's one thing, but to actually not just be right about something, but actually do the work and have the technical aptitude to actually do the thing.
Well, the uncertainty too, like it was just so uncertain. There was nothing was easy about it at that time, and it was so insane. So I think like that, and then to hold it for a long time, and I think that with getting an ape in early, like there's just like that kind of like zoom out thinking maybe is the takeaway sometimes. And I like to mention it often because it's very hard to zoom in when there's so much that happens every second.
I think that's a great one to wrap on, especially talking uncertainties of the market. Sometimes just take a deep breath, enjoy the present, zoom out, and know that change is inevitable. The world is changing at a pace we've never seen before, but it's rarely all doom and gloom. And change can be uncomfortable, but it also can lead to incredible opportunities. And we're going to blink and 5 years will go by. We'll blink again and it'll be 10 years down the road. And the world will look very different than what it is today. And I think a lot of us have the advantage of being early to this technology, whether we're talking Bitcoin or AI. It's one of the things I enjoy most here is we are on the bleeding edge of tech and finance and a lot happening in this world. Of note, just got shared. Elon posted X Money early public access will launch next month. Do we think I think there'll be a crypto component. I don't know if we'll get an X coin or an X chain, but I would be surprised actually if crypto is not baked in to X Money at launch. It might just be stables, maybe stables, Bitcoin, ETH. I don't know exactly what, but I'm fully expecting crypto to be incorporated into X Money when it goes live. And maybe it ends up being a nothing burger. I doubt it. I also think because this is like back to Elon's roots. I mean, X.com he acquired when he was building or wanted to build basically PayPal. Long story short, would eventually merge with PayPal and that whole PayPal mafia came out of there. But payments and then soon after he acquired X, said this is going to be the everything app. I think this is a major big deal for not just X, a company, but I think Elon and like his personal, I don't want to call it a pet project, but I think it is something he's very passionate about. And when you talk about Catalyst, what might onboard the next billion users, it could be a social app really getting it right when it comes to how they incorporate crypto and not just payments or sending friends and family money. But I don't know, as someone who's here hosting spaces every weekday, tipping mechanics both ways, not just so you all can tip us host, but how we can give it back, pay it back, and little have some fun with it, right? It's not like I don't think it needs to be world changing from a financial standpoint, but I think incorporating payments, microtransactions into this platform, I think could be a big deal. we'll see. But coming soon, apparently sooner than some were thinking. Public access coming next month. So I read that as coming in April. With that being said, appreciate y'all being here. Outer, thanks so much. Pleasure as always. Really enjoyed all the football talk with you today in particular. And I kid, but no, really enjoyed the conversation. Appreciate everyone who jumped up and talked about Pudgy World and shared their experiences. Appreciate everyone who is going to help us determine or finalize what this Get Real or Keeping It Real RWA segment will be called moving forward. And we'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Looking forward to it. And as Steve would say, hope you all have a wonderful day, everyone.